What's up once again, everybody? This is Terrence Warren, the Cisco Tutor Guy, and I'm continuing with my CCNA lab series. I have another lab video for you that I'm going to go through. And this is a lab that could probably be on this new CCNA exam. So this lab that we're going to do is the configuring a static route, right? So this is the static routing lab. There's more than one of those labs, so I don't know which one might be on this exam. I know it may be one of them. So we're going to do this one. So right here, I have the topology for the static route lab. So we're going to configure connectivity between router 1 and router 3. So what that entails is us configuring a static route in like all three of these routers. So we're going to start with router 3. Okay, so let's get in here. Go to the CLI. Enter. So now we're going to implement the first IP address. So allow me to explain. Because we're going from router 3 to router 1, we have to configure the IP addresses of the interfaces that it will be going through. So since we're going to go from R1 to R3, the first static route that we're putting into R3 will be the IP address of R1, which will be the 192.168.1.1. So let me bring this up here. Okay, y'all can see that. Okay, we're in router 3. Config enable. Config mode. And we're going to put, let's see, IP route 192.168.1.1. And let's just give it 255.255.255. And I don't think I want to give it a 24 sided, so we'll give it another 255. And then we're going to have to see, now we have the destination of where we want to go. We need the IP address of where it's coming from, which interface. So that's going to be the interface with the 229, because we're going, let's see, we're going from R3 to R1. The first interface that it's going to go through and going to R1 will be the interface with the 229 on the end. So let's go ahead and put that IP address in there, which is 209.165.200.229. Hit enter. All right, and that's it for R3. So we're going to stop that. And then we're going to go to router 2. All right. So again, we're in the command line. Enable. Config T. IP route. And so the IP route we're going to put in here, because we're still going to the 192.168.1.1 address. We're going to start with that IP address. IP route 192.168.1.1. And again, we're going to use a 255.255.255.255. All right, and this time, all right, since the next interface we're going to pass through is on router 1, we have the interface that ends in 225. Right here is where we're going from 229 to 225. So what we want to do is the IP address of this interface, we want to put that in here. So that's 209.165.200.225. And we're going to hit enter. All right, so now we've established that static route. And static simply means you're manually putting the IP addresses in. Dynamic means it'll automatically populate or learn. But since we're statically putting them in, henceforth the name of this lab is static route. So the last, well, not the last router, but the next router we want to go to is the R1, because we've gotten our route in R2 and R3. So now we're going to jump into R1 and put a route into there. Enable config T. And okay, because we're coming from router 3, now we got to start with the IP address of router 3's interface that it's coming out of. So we're going to start with IP route 209.165.200. And what's the interface that we're coming from? 230. Do we see the 230 right here? So this is the interface we're going to come out of. $230. Hit enter. Oh, okay. What a IP? Oh, let's try that again. IP routes 209.165.200.230. Enter. IP route. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I'm forgetting the mask. Sorry about that, guys. Let's try it one more time. IP route 209.165.200.230. We're giving them a mask, or the same one we've been given every other one. Let's see. 1, 2, okay. Now we implement the IP address of the other interface. So it's going to be 209.165.200. And let's see what the other interface was. Okay. So I wanted you to see that we're coming from the 230 interface on R3, and we've already implemented a route going to the 229 interface on R2. So now this other route that's going to 225, we have to come through the 226 interface. You get it? So we're going from 230 to 226, just like we went from 229 to 225 in the last statement. So again, we're going to go from 230 to the 226 interface, going into the direction of the R1 router. So we have to go ahead and implement excuse me, 226. Hit enter, and there we go. Now, task 2 of our instructions, let's say, is configure an IPv4 route on R2 destined for R4. So we have another router down here, and we have the fourth router. So we have to also configure a static route from R2 going to R4. So let's get into R2 again and implement that static route. And the route is going to be, let's see, IP route. And we're going to just use the zero mask 0.0.0.0 0.0.0.0, and now we're going to put the IP address over there. That's going to be 209.165.202.130. Now, the reason why the address changed is because if we look down here at the IP address for R4 right here, we see the 209.165.202.128 with the 27 CIDR mask. So we're going to keep with that IP address, and the interface for that for R4 is 130. Henceforth, we got 209.165.202.130 right here. So let's hit enter. And so now we have that route implemented in R2 going to R4. So what's next? Let's go back into R1. Okay. So now we're back in R1, and we're going to implement an IPv6 route also. Okay. So we're in R1, and we're going to configure this IPv6 route. So the command is IPv6 route. You not always make mistakes on this part because the colons. I think it's colon /0. If I make a mistake, bear with me. Then let's see what the IP6 address is. Okay, here is the IPv6 address. The 2001 semicolon DB8 semicolon ABC colon 2. So that's the address we're going to put in. All right, so 201 colon DB8 colon, what's that? ABCD. ABCD colon what is it? 2. Okay, and it took. So now we have everything in there. So the last thing we need to do is save our config. Now on the exam, the command to save your config is copy run start. But again, I've been doing this for a while. I'm gonna say over 20 years. So I always use write mem. That's also a command that saves your config. But I don't think they teach it anymore. So I'm gonna go through all the routers and save my config. So we're gonna go do write mem, which is WR, and our config is saved. So I'm gonna leave that one open because we're gonna come back and verify the connectivity. Let's go to R2, do write mem, and it's saved. Now we're back going to R3. Okay, it timed out. Let's just go in and save our config. And since it's already in exec mode, we just have to do write mem, and it's can save. And save. Alright, so to verify connectivity between R1 and R3, what we're going to do is ping the IPv6 address. No, I take not the RPv6, but we're gonna ping from R3 to router one's IPv4 address. Okay, let's move this over here, and we're gonna ping 192.168.1.1. I think that was the address. Yes, that's the address. And we have 3.3 out of 5 packets successfully received. Let's do it again, because sometimes it just takes a minute for all the packets to be for it to find where it's searching. So let's hit it again. Hit up arrow and again, and now we have 5 out of 5 packets successfully sent and received. So that was the CCNA Lab static routing config, and I hope you like the video. Hope you subscribe, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe. And I hope you grasp the concepts of what static and dynamic routing is, and how to just kind of go through this lab. All right, this lab will be available down in the comments, or I mean not in the comments, but in the descriptions. So if you want to just follow along and do this lab yourself, you're welcome to do so. So again, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.